Hello and welcome to another video. So first of all, sorry if there's a little background noise. My dad literally decided it was the best moment to start mowing the lawn. So I can't do anything about that. But anyhow, I was thinking to myself the other day, unclaimed, and yes, that is sometimes how I refer to myself in my brain. And I was thinking to myself, what is the best way to read Rick Riordan books? Now, I would love to say that a lot of you have asked me, but in reality, 0 people have asked me. So this is literally just me asking myself and answering my own question. So honestly, what is the best way to read all of Rick Riordan's Percy Jackson verse books? So without further ado, let's just get to all the ways that you could possibly read these books. So, way number 1, let's just say that you've never read any Percy Jackson book or any Rick Riordan book. So what you probably want to do is start reading The Lightning Thief and go through the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. Now, you could just stop there if you wanted, no pressure to read any more. But if you really like that series and want something similar to it but with new characters, then what you should read is definitely the Kane Chronicles, starting with the Red Pyramid. And if you've already gone through that and you want more, but now you kind of want to revisit the good old Greek gods, then might I suggest starting the Heroes of Olympus, starting with the Lost Hero. So when you get through that series, if you've already had enough of the crazy Greek gods and you want even crazier gods, then might I suggest jumping into the Magnus Chase trilogy, starting with the Sword of Summer. Now that is a great trilogy, but keep in mind, if you're going to read the Trials of Apollo books later, that you probably want to read one Magnus Chase book and then one Trials of Apollo book, since they were published almost side by side, and I think the Magnus Chase books may contain spoilers to what happens in the Trials of Apollo series. So be sure to read those in publication order. And when you finally get to the Tower of Nero, you close that last book and you put it down, and that's it. You're done with the Riordan verse and the Percy Jackson verse, and you can go and try to find some other book series to fill that gaping hole in your tiny black heart. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. It really means a lot. Obviously, that's not it. Okay, so that is one way to do it. So basically, that's just one way to do it. You can read the series in basically the publishing order, and you can just read the first one or read the second one, but as long as you do them in order, you can always leave a door open in case you want to read the next ones in the future. But that is not exactly what I wanted to talk to you about today. Today, I want to tell you the perfect order to read the Percy Jackson, Rick Riordan books. What? I got so confused with my own sentence. The perfect order to read these books in. That's what I meant to say. So without further ado, let's just get into it because it's really detailed. And in case you were wondering, this order does include the short novels, the companion novels. So let's go. So picture this, you're new to the fandom. You've never read any Rick Riordan book, any Percy Jackson verse book, but you've seen the movies and you might be intrigued. So this is what you have to do. Pick up The Lightning Thief. It is the first book in the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series, and it's imperative that you read this. Now, after picking this up and loving it, you're going to want to pick up The Sea of Monsters. It's the second book, it's great, and after reading this, obviously, you're going to want to pick up The Titan's Curse. And after reading this, you're going to want to pick up The Battle of the Labyrinth. And you might think, wow, we've gotten to the 4th book. The logical thing would be to pick up the 5th book. And you'd be wrong. You'd be really freaking wrong. So you don't want to pick this up. No, I mean, you might want to, but you can't. You're prohibited from doing this. So instead, you're going to pick up this, Percy Jackson and the Demigod Files. So you're going to pick up this, but you're not going to read the whole thing because the whole thing contains spoilers for later on. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to read Percy Jackson and the Stolen Chariot. You're going to read Percy Jackson and the Bronze Dragon. And then you're going to read Percy Jackson and the Sword of Hades. We don't know exactly where in the timeline these stories occur, but we do know it's somewhere between the Sea of Monsters and the Battle of the Labyrinth, in between those summers. So this is exactly the time that you would want to pick those up. It does have a sneak peek at The Last Olympian, so you might want to read that, but why don't you just pick The Last Olympian after picking this up? It's the perfect time, it's the perfect order, and you're just going to love this book. Now, once you've read this whole series, you might want to just leave it at that, and that's completely fine. You are covered. But if you do want to know a little bit more about this universe without having to be invested in a whole new book, you're going to want to pick up Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Ultimate Guide. Now, this is really an item for all you book collectible nerds, and it's just a guide with the horrible old official art, and it just like expands on the universe and talks about the characters and the gods and stuff like that. It's really fun. It's just like a cool collector's item to have, and if you don't want to invest time in more books, then this is the perfect way to go. Before I continue, please leave a like and subscribe because it really does help my channel. Okay, let's go and see what you should read next. So, you finished reading Percy Jackson and the Olympians. You read the Demigod Files, you read The Ultimate Guide, but you still need more Percy content. What you're going to want to do is pick up the Demigod Diaries and read, I think it's the first short story in here, and it's called The Staff of Hermes. It's beautifully Percy, but you can't read more than that yet because you'll get spoiled, so only read that first one. I'm watching you, do not read anything else. At least the short stories. Do not read the short stories unless it's that one. Now, if you've read all of that and you want like a palate cleanser, you want different gods, you want different characters, but you still want that classic Rick Riordan humor and that Rick Riordan vibe. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna pick up The Red Pyramid from the King Chronicles. And this is the perfect time to pick this up. It's literally being turned into a Netflix adaptation, so check this out right now. After picking this up and loving it, you're going to want to pick up, no, you don't pick that one up. You're going to want to pick up this one, The Throne of Fire. Great second book, pick it up, love it, and then you can finally pick up The Serpent's Shadow, third and final book in the series. Now, if you truly want to do it like chronologically as things happen in the books, then you would have to read these two after Battle of the Labyrinth, I believe, and this one after The Last Olympian and before the Heroes of Olympus series. There is also, I believe, a survival guide or an ultimate guide to the King Chronicles. Unfortunately, I do not own it. So if you do own it and if you're interested in reading more about it and learning more about the characters and the mythology, then I highly recommend picking that up. It also has the old official art, which is always an interesting time to look at. Oh my god, I totally lied. I just looked and I do have the survival guide. Nice! If after reading those two wonderful series, you feel like picking something else up, but maybe a bit more YA, a bit more romance-centered, even more romance-centered, then what you want to do is pick up The Heroes of Olympus. And what you're going to do is pick up the first book, The Lost Hero. But wait. After this, you're not going to pick up The Son of Neptune. You're not, because you're not allowed. What you're going to do is you're going to pick up The Demigod Diaries. Yes, you're gonna pick this up again because I'm telling you to do it. You're gonna pick it up, you're gonna open it up, and then you're going to go to page 123 and you're gonna read Leo Valdez and the Quest for Buford. You might think this is stupid, you might think this is irrelevant, but actually, it's not. It's really not. It's really not. And I'm not just trying to convince myself and convince you. It's literally important to the plot in the Mark of Athena. So you're going to want to read this if you don't want to be completely lost at the wackiness that happens in Mark of Athena. Also, if you already picked this up, then you don't even have to pay for it again. You just have to read it. So just do it. I mean, yeah, just do it. So after reading that short story, you're gonna want to pick up The Son of Neptune. I don't have anything on my hand because, yes, that's right, my little brother is still reading it after what has it been, almost a year since summer last year, I believe. So yes, I don't have this on my bookshelf yet because he's still reading it, although he took it on the last trip that we took and he didn't read a single page of it, so yes, shame him down in the comments. But after you finish reading The Son of Neptune, if you do happen to have it on your shelf, then you're gonna want to pick up The Mark of Athena, one of Rick Riordan's masterpieces. So pick this one up. Be sure to have tissues for the ending, and then you're definitely going to want to pick up The House of Hades. This one, is the cover a spoiler? This one will kill you right in the feels. It will stab you repeatedly. And then after reading that, you might, I guess you would want to if you haven't read it already, but you might want to pick up The Blood of Olympus, the infamous last book to the Heroes of Olympus series. What a notorious book that you are. I still don't like the cover. So, you've already read all of the Heroes of Olympus books, and you're a bit underwhelmed, but you liked them. So, what are you going to do afterwards? Well, if you're like me, you're probably still craving Percy, but you want them to, like, interact with other characters. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna pick up Demigods and Magicians, which has this beautiful, beautiful cover. And after you pick it up, you're going to read, give me a sec. You're going to read The Son of Sobek, which has Percy and Carter. And then you're going to read The Staff of Serapis, which has Sadie and Annabeth. And then finally, you're going to read The Crown of Ptolemy, I don't know. And then you're going to read that last one, and it has the 4 of them, which is great. I honestly am not sure where in the timeline this happens exactly, but I feel like this is the perfect time to read it because this includes a sneak peek to the Trials of Apollo, and you're definitely not going to read it because after reading this beautiful masterpiece of a crossover, you're going to read, don't mind me just destroying my beautiful shelf for you. Okay, so if you've made it to this point and you still want to read more Rick Riordan books, and you still haven't read the first Trials of Apollo book because you listened to my advice, what you're gonna want to do is pick up the first Magnus Chase book, which is Magnus Chase and the Sword of Summer. It's beautiful, it has Magnus. What else do you want? Pick this up. But do not pick up the second Magnus Chase book. Wait, calm your horses. We still have a lot of other books to read before reading this one. Just one, but still, don't pick that one up. I'm telling you, do not pick it up. You're going to want to pick up the first Trials of Apollo book. Yes, now it's a perfect time to read it. Okay, after this, you're going to want to read the second Magnus Chase book, Magnus Chase and the Hammer of Thor. Now, this one has the introduction of Alex Fierro. Do I need to sell it more than that? I do not think that I do. And after reading this, no, I feel like you don't understand yet. You don't pick up the third book. No. You are going to want to pick up the second Trials of Apollo book, which features one of our more notorious characters from the 7, from the Heroes of Olympus, and that is the Dark Prophecy. And only after you pick this one up, you can read, psych, it's another Trials of Apollo book. It's not the third Magnus Chase one. It's the Trials of Apollo and the Burning Maze. That's what it's called, yes. I feel like if you've read this, we have an understanding. So if you definitely have to read this before you read the last Magnus Chase book because it doesn't have like a really direct spoiler, but it's spoilery enough. So don't read that one before reading this one. You're going to want to have tissues with this one as well. And then, and only then, are you allowed to pick up the third Magnus Chase book, Magnus Chase and the Ship of the Dead. And as a reward for having waited this long, you get a Percy Jackson cameo. And, yeah. What else do you want from life other than a Percy Jackson cameo? Also, tiny Perciveth cameo as well. So once you've finished reading this, now you understand the spoiler and you're really happy with yourself. So you put Magnus Chase down, and since you've already invested 3 books of the Trials of Apollo, you pick the 4th one up. But no, that's what you think, that's what you expect me to say, but that is definitely not what you have to do. Instead, you pick up this lovely book, Camp Jupiter Classified. Now, if you've been on my channel for some time, you may recognize this as one of my least favorite books from last year, aka one of the worst books from last year. It takes place right before the fourth Trials of Apollo book, I feel like, and it's interesting. If you like the romance, definitely pick this up. It has some Frank, maybe some Hazel, and definitely some Raina, so if you like those characters, check this out. It features a new protagonist that we never get to see again. So if you like that, maybe pick this one up. If you're a collector, then I do suggest picking this up. And if you love the series, then do pick this up. But it's definitely not necessary to read this before the fourth book because it doesn't really add anything to the plot. And then you can finally pick this one up. The Tyrant's Tomb, my least favorite book in this series. And then finally, you've made it. You can almost see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's the last book in the Riordan'S as we know it. And that is The Tower of Nero. I have a whole spoilery and spoiler-free review of this on my channel, so I'll link that up below if you want to watch this. I really like this. I even paid to have it shipped for me. It's signed. I paid to go on the book tour online, so wait, where is this? Oh, here it is, I missed it. Here it is. I'm pretty sure I have an unboxing. I'll leave that linked up there below. No, I'll leave it linked somewhere. And it's a great book. I think it's maybe my third favorite in the series. So pick it up, read it, and be sad when you finally get to the last page and everything you knew and love is over forever. So, you've made it this far in the video and you're wondering what possessed me to make this video all of a sudden. Is it just for views? Is it just me not having any more ideas for Percy Jackson content?
Maybe so.
But it's also because I was kind of debating doing a Percy Jackson readathon of my own. I actually want to read and record myself reading all of my Rick Riordan books, so that would be Percy Jackson and the Gods of what is it called? Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Then obviously the Kane Chronicles, the Heroes of Olympus, Magnus Chase, and then the Trials of Apollo with all of the companion novels. So I was wondering if you guys would be interested in seeing reading vlogs for all of those books, and I would love to just like have those on my channel for people to see. So if you would be interested in that, please let me know down below. And maybe let me know if you like reading vlogs or book talks better, because I don't know. I really don't know what you guys want. So now that I've completely devastated my favorite shelf, now the video is over. So please leave a like if you like this video, click subscribe if you haven't already, and click that bell button so you get notifications every time I post a new video. I post videos Mondays and Fridays, so that's twice a week on this channel, and I guess I'll see you next time. Bye!